Welcome to our deep dive into the world of .NET. It sometimes feels like every app and website and game is built on this platform, but what is .NET and why is it so popular? We've got some great resources to help us unpack all of this, including .NET key concepts and real-world scenarios explained.
Yeah, it's true. .NET is incredibly versatile. It's like the foundation of a house. You can build all sorts of structures on top of it, from a cozy cottage to a towering skyscraper.
Okay, so that makes sense. But why would someone choose .NET over other options? What makes this foundation so special?
One key reason is that .NET offers a really comprehensive set of tools and libraries, which means developers don't have to start from scratch every time. Imagine trying to build a house without pre-made bricks or lumber. It would take forever. .NET provides those building blocks for software.
So it's all about efficiency and having a solid starting point. But I've also heard that .NET can be used to build pretty much anything. Is that true?
Absolutely. Think about the apps you use every day. Mobile games, social media platforms, e-commerce sites, even complex enterprise software. .NET can handle it all. This is partly because of the different versions of .NET, each with its own strengths.
Oh, right. I remember reading about that. We have the .NET Framework, .NET Core, and .NET 5 and beyond. But how do developers know which one to use?
Well, let's imagine a company is developing a new mobile game. They want it to run smoothly on both iOS and Android devices. In this case, .NET Core or .NET 5 would be the perfect fit because they're designed to be cross-platform.
So if they had chosen the original .NET Framework, they might have run into trouble.
Exactly. The .NET Framework was designed primarily for Windows applications, so it wouldn't have been the ideal choice for a cross-platform mobile game. In fact, choosing the wrong version of .NET can lead to all sorts of headaches down the line: compatibility issues, performance problems, even cost overruns. So making the right decision early on is critical.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like choosing the right foundation for your house. If you build a skyscraper on a foundation meant for a cottage, you're going to have some serious structural problems.
Perfect analogy. Now, speaking of how things work behind the scenes, let's talk about the programming language that drives a lot of .NET development: C Sharp.
Right. I've heard C# is like the architect who draws up the blueprints for the software being built on the .NET foundation. But then I read about something called IL Code Intermediate Language. Is that like a secret language that only computers understand?
It's not exactly a secret language, but it's definitely one that computers prefer. Think of it this way. You write your code in C Sharp, which is designed for humans to understand. But computers need instructions in a more basic form. So the C Sharp code gets translated into IL code, which acts as a universal set of instructions that any computer can understand, regardless of its operating system.
Okay. I'm starting to get the picture. But how does that IL code actually get executed? That's where things get really interesting, right?
You're right, it's fascinating. There's another key player involved called the JIT compiler, just-in-time compiler.
Oh, yes, the JIT compiler. I remember reading that it's like having a chef who takes a recipe, the IL code, and prepares it in a way that's perfectly tailored to your specific kitchen, the computer's hardware.
That's a great analogy. It highlights how the JIT compiler optimizes the code at runtime, ensuring it runs smoothly and efficiently on the specific machine it's running on. This translates to faster loading times, smoother operation, and overall better performance for the end user.
So the JIT compiler is like the unsung hero of .NET, working behind the scenes to make sure everything runs smoothly. But I'm still curious about something. Is all code in the .NET world managed by this system?
That's a great question. It brings us to the distinction between managed and unmanaged code. You see, sometimes developers want complete control over how their code interacts with the system.
Okay, so it's like the difference between living in a gated community with lots of rules and services provided versus owning your own private property where you can do whatever you want.
That's a good way to put it. With managed code, you're essentially working within the .NET Framework sandbox. It provides services like garbage collection and memory management, making life easier for the developer. But sometimes, you might need direct access to system resources, or want to work with legacy systems. That's where unmanaged code comes in.
So it sounds like managed code is generally the way to go, unless you have a specific reason to need the flexibility and control of unmanaged code. But honestly, having a system that cleans up after you sounds pretty appealing.
It definitely has its advantages. And speaking of cleanup, there's a crucial component of .NET that handles all that: the garbage collector. It's essentially an automated system that frees up memory by getting rid of objects that are no longer being used.
Right, the garbage collector. It's like having a robot that constantly tidies up your digital house, preventing clutter from accumulating and ensuring things run smoothly, so it keeps things running efficiently, and prevents those dreaded memory leaks that can slow down an application. It's amazing how much happens behind the scenes that we never even realize.
It's true. And all of this is managed by another key player in the .NET world, the Common Language Runtime, or CLR.
The CLR, I remember seeing that term in our research. It sounds pretty important. What exactly does it do?
The CLR is like the conductor of an orchestra. It manages the execution of .NET programs, ensuring that all the different parts work together in harmony.
So it's not just about C# then. Are there other languages that can be used within the .NET framework?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
While C# is the most popular, .NET is designed to be language agnostic. You can use languages like VB.NET and F#, among others. They all get compiled down to that common intermediate language we talked about, so they can all run smoothly within the .NET environment.
That's pretty impressive. It seems like .NET is designed to be really flexible and adaptable.
It is. And this flexibility extends to how .NET applications are structured. Have you ever heard of assemblies?
Assemblies. Vaguely, I think they were mentioned in our research.
Think of assemblies as the building blocks of a .NET application. They are packages that contain compiled code, resources, and metadata. You can have executable assemblies, exe files, which are the ones you double-click to run a program, and library assemblies, DLL files, which contain reusable code that can be shared across multiple applications.
So it's like having a set of prefabricated components that you can mix and match to build different structures. That seems incredibly efficient.
It is. And it also makes things easier when it comes to versioning and deployment. Each assembly has a version number, so when you make changes, you can increment the number to ensure compatibility.
Right, so it's like a labeling system that helps keep everything organized and ensures that all the pieces work together smoothly, even when updates are released.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about the practical applications of all of this. We've covered a lot of technical ground, but I'm sure you're curious about what types of software .NET excels at building.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I know .NET is used for a wide variety of things, but I'd love to hear some specific examples.
Well, let's start with web applications. .NET is a popular choice for building dynamic and interactive websites and web services. Frameworks like ASP.NET provide developers with powerful tools for creating everything from simple blogs to complex e-commerce platforms.
So when I'm browsing an online store or using a web-based application, there's a good chance that .NET is powering the experience behind the scenes.
Very likely. But it's not just about web applications. .NET is also widely used for building desktop applications. Think of popular software like Microsoft Office or Adobe Photoshop. These are complex applications that rely on the robustness and performance of .NET to deliver a smooth user experience.
Wow, that's impressive. So .NET can handle both the front-end user interface and the back-end logic of these sophisticated applications.
It can. And with the rise of mobile devices, .NET has also become a major player in mobile development. Frameworks like Xamarin allow developers to build cross-platform mobile apps that run on iOS, Android, and Windows devices.
It seems like .NET is everywhere, and it's constantly evolving to keep up with new technologies and trends. What are some of the latest innovations that are shaping the future of .NET?
That's a great question. One of the most exciting developments is .NET MAUI, which stands for .NET Multi-Platform App UI. It's a framework that allows developers to build native user interfaces for mobile and desktop applications from a single code base.
So instead of having to write separate code for each platform, developers can now create a single user interface that adapts seamlessly to different screen sizes and operating systems. That sounds like a major time saver.
It is, and it also ensures a more consistent user experience across different devices. Another key trend is the growing adoption of cloud-native architectures. .NET is playing a crucial role in this space, enabling developers to build scalable and resilient applications that can leverage the power of the cloud.
I'm starting to grasp the true power of .NET. It's more than just a programming language or a framework. It's a comprehensive ecosystem that provides developers with everything they need to build innovative software for a wide range of platforms.
You're getting it. And this ecosystem is thriving thanks to a passionate and supportive community of developers who are constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible with .NET.
I have to admit, all of this talk about .NET's capabilities is inspiring. It makes me want to dive in and start building something myself.
That's the spirit. But before you embark on your coding adventure, there's one more aspect of .NET that I think you'll find fascinating. Its philosophy.
Oh, interesting. I wouldn't have thought of a software development platform as having a philosophy.
Well, in a way, it does. .NET encourages developers to create code that is not only functional, but also elegant, maintainable, and adaptable. It emphasizes best practices like clean code, modular design, and thorough testing.
So it's not just about getting the job done. It's about doing it in a way that is sustainable and scalable in the long run. That makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. And this emphasis on quality and long-term thinking is one of the reasons why .NET applications tend to be robust and reliable.
It's amazing to see how much thought and care has gone into creating this platform. It's clearly designed to empower developers to create truly exceptional software.
It is. And the best part is that the .NET ecosystem is constantly evolving, with new features and improvements being released all the time.
It sounds like a really exciting time to be a .NET developer.
It is. Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground today,
Hmm.
but I want to make sure we highlight the human element behind all of this technology.
Ah, yes, the developers themselves. What makes the .NET community so special?
One of the things that stands out to me is the incredible spirit of collaboration and knowledge sharing within the .NET community. Developers are always willing to help each other out, share code, and contribute to open source projects.
That's wonderful. Sounds like a really welcoming and supportive environment for both seasoned professionals and those who are just starting out.
Absolutely. And this culture of collaboration is one of the reasons why .NET has been able to innovate and evolve so rapidly over the years.
It's really inspiring to see how technology can bring people together and foster such a positive and productive community.
It is. And this community-driven spirit is what makes me so optimistic about the future of .NET. It's a platform that is constantly being shaped and improved by the collective wisdom and creativity of its users.
It's incredible to think about the ripple effect of this collaborative spirit. It's not just about lines of code. It's about people coming together to create something bigger than themselves.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I think this sense of shared purpose is one of the reasons why so many developers are passionate about .NET. It's not just a job. It's a chance to be part of something meaningful.
You know, we've talked a lot about the technical aspects of .NET, but what strikes me is that it's also about empowering people to solve real-world problems.
Absolutely. Whether it's developing a mobile app that helps people stay connected, or creating software that streamlines business processes, or building games that entertain and engage millions, .NET is being used to make a positive impact in countless ways.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes to the possibilities of .NET. It's so much more than just a development platform. It's a catalyst for innovation, a tool for positive change, and a testament to the power of human ingenuity.
Well said. And for anyone listening who's feeling inspired to explore the world of .NET, I encourage you to take that first step. There are tons of resources available online, and the community is incredibly welcoming to newcomers.
I think the key takeaway for me is that .NET is not just for tech wizards. It's for anyone who has a passion for creating, for solving problems, and for making a difference in the world.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So to our listener, if you ever thought about learning to code or exploring the world of software development, .NET is a fantastic place to start. Who knows? Maybe you'll build the next game-changing app, the next revolutionary software, or the next technology that makes the world a better place.
What an inspiring thought. I hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity and given you a glimpse into the incredible potential of .NET. It's been a real pleasure exploring this fascinating world with you. Until next time, keep learning, keep creating, and keep diving deep.